Every day is exciting when we are here talking with people and sharing ideas. I am Colonel Garth Massey. I am here with my good buddy, Philip Folsom. And we're coming at you again to talk about things that matter to the business world, to our families, to each other. Because our hope is that in this 10 minutes of tactical talk with two tough guys,
That's strong, man.
we actually can hit on things that maybe can ground us all or help us to achieve greater things, to aspire to new goals, to all kinds of stuff. But today, because we just finished Turkey Day, and we're heading into the big holidays, today is a big effort at time off and vacations and downtime with the family. And we're coming off 9 months now of pandemic lockdown. And yet we're still talking about taking time off, but it's important, right? I mean, I got to tell you, like personally, I don't know that my wife watches all these. I love taking vacations, love it, love traveling, love all of it, but I am no good at it. It takes me days to shift gear.
Yeah. So love this topic. I'm super glad that you pitched this out of, one of the things we could discuss, because it's really been relevant for me over the last year or so, particularly around COVID and quarantine and radical shifts in lifestyle. And so this is a topic that's was reoccurring for me in my years into my 50s of how do I maintain a more consistent path upwards without burning out, without breaking down, without, cratering. And a lot of times I'll notice that when I have a weekend or when I have a vacation, or even when I'm traveling, I'm on a business trip, I tend to let my standards slip substantially. And very quickly, my diet gets out of hand, my self-esteem goes, my discipline goes, and then I end up feeling unhappy. And I don't know if you're carrying a couple extra pounds after Turkey Day, but I'm not particularly feeling happy about myself. And yet I know I need to recover. I know I need to be able to recalibrate, and because all these systems are built into, the seasons have cycles. We have sleep that's built into our every species. There is recovery that is vital and mandatory. And I don't think it's designed to be slothful. I don't think it's designed to be a virtue crater. I think that there is a way that, and I think athletics is a really, really valuable window of looking at life. And even athletes, they have active recovery. They have off season.
Yeah.
And during off season, they're not just ballooning up and cratering. They're learning new skills and they're healing. And that's when you get your surgeries and when you develop a new swing or whatever your jam is, right. But that's when it happens. And I was reading a great thing about the Roman army, and they have, the war has seasons. And of course, it was dictated, by the environment and weather. Because nobody wants to fight during the winter. I mean, good Lord, we're all off on the winter.
Yeah, Napoleon hated it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Russians loved it though.
Yeah,
they were pretty good at it.
They're a special breed.
Yes. But with the Romans, they had this built-in cadence where during the deep off season was when they were exploring new technologies and they were training and doing development of their leaders and new catapults and whatever it was. And then kind of mid off season was the integration of that work and promotions and fine tuning things. And then right when they get into the preseason for war, it was hard training. That's when you start implementing all of the stuff you're working on, and then you go to war. And then after that, then you regroup, retool, innovate, recalibrate.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking is how do we get this to be where it's active and it's growth oriented? So yes, we're plateauing, but we're not dropping back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said two things that make me want to ask questions immediately. The first one was you mentioned self-esteem. Like, so you take a vacation and your self-esteem drops, which, I mean, Yeah, actually, like I feel guilty about being there, so I take 2 days or so to like get into vacation mode, and then I get into the jam of like, fine, I'll just set all this aside and go hang on the beach or the slopes or the whatever we're doing. Um, but then when I get about 2 days from coming back, 3 days from coming back, I'm no good anymore either, because now I'm kind of leaning into mentally getting ready to make up for everything I did.
Mm.
So I lose 2 to 5 days on any week-long vacation just lamenting about where I ought to be. But the second one was the guilt. So your self-esteem and then the guilt. Now, I mean, at the time, I felt like a champion because somebody had to finish the last piece of pumpkin pie, and I wasn't going to let the kids see me as a loser, right? But you're right. Like after I go backwards and go, yeah, maybe I didn't need it. I wasn't really showing off, doing that little bit of extra leftovers, but it did feel so compelling in the moment. Um, and it it strikes me because you talk about the Romans, you talk about this big cycle, and in big cycles, things make sense and they look good. Take the downtime, innovate your resources, and create new stuff. Train and prep physically for the season. Go into the fighting season. Expand your territories. Absorb new technology. Go back into the beginning again. But on an individual level, at the small level, so big macro looks great. Micro level, I bet it was awful. Because in there, you got to build also like the guy's starting to work out because he knows he's leaving. And so he starts abusing his kids and family again because he's about to go off to war and he's mentally steeling himself for it. And, the wives, everything's great. The harvest just came in. They finally have enough food for the winter. And now the husband's leaving again. And oh, by the way, he's hitting the kids more. Like on a micro level, if you don't understand where you fit in the bigger picture,
Yep.
I think we feel like ships lost at sea. And,
Yep.
and, I've been getting that a lot lately too, like in clients I work with and for myself too. It's always a matter of, am I aligned with where the big cycle is so that this makes sense? Because it never makes sense as an individual. I don't know if that's where you're talking, but
Really good point.
self-esteem is a tough one. And then recognizing where you are in the cycle at the individual level so that it makes sense in the big level. And that's a tough skill. I mean, changing your perspective from strategic, jumping down to tactical, and skipping the one in the middle is dangerous. But how do we get back to the first one? Like, okay, so a drop in self-esteem or a change in habits. Like, I don't want to be draconian. That's why it's called downtime. So what do we do about that? How do we cheat and not feel guilty, or cheat but not enough that that it's harmful?
For me, what I'm exploring is shifting my perspective, which really creates our reality in many ways. The angle of approach we have on anything really creates our reality. And I'm looking at my my downtime, my off time, as how can I reward myself with something that is going to make me feel better, either actively or long term. And obviously, I feel better when I exercise, and it's hard, right? And I feel better when I've been diligent about my diet, or when I write or journal or meditate. Like, I feel better. And if I can shift that to, a reward, like this is active recovery, then that seems to be a way to maintain my at least current state, if not having some active development, so that when it is time on Monday morning to get it back after it, I'm not coming out of a hole. I'm not climbing out of a hole just so I can get back to where I was. Like, I want my ratchet to catch me before I drop backwards, my lifestyle ratchet, and I want on Monday to be, moving up the ladder, not be broken. I don't want to be broken either. I don't want to be working one of these guys that just,
So, I mean, is that a
grinds.
mindset thing where if you recognize the power of the downtime, right? If you recognize that you're doing it on purpose because you're trying to get something out of it, and the get is either to totally disconnect for 24 straight hours, or to climb some peak, or to see something you've never seen before. Because I think we get caught in this snapshot Instagram photos of whatever we did. But the vacations I have loved are all the ones where I shelled out the money and took that sailing trip that, I'd always thought about, or skydived, or went scuba diving, or, so the epic vacation is still only epic because there was some moment inside it where I said, that'll be my achievement. I will have done a good job on vacation because I pet a shark in the Great Barrier Reef or whatever, right?
Yeah.
First rule of vacations I'm using as my examples. So, but that's a huge mindset. I never thought about that as like make the vacation the mission. In fact,
Yeah.
I plan everything all the time for everything except vacation. I don't book a hotel. I don't book a rental car. And I've been on many a vacation where we show up and we don't have a flight home or, there's only one room and we got, 6 kids. And it's because I let my wife do it. And that's part of my vacation plan is just like, no, I'm not going to plan anything or do anything. But maybe if you expanded that mindset to make the vacation the mission, does that add to the stress or does that make it better?
Hey, honestly, for me, I'm explaining as long as it's intentional, then that seems to make me better. And what I mean by that is, I don't believe anybody intentionally chooses to be fat or intentionally chooses to be slothful or mean or cowardly. Like that's all stuff that kind of sneaks up on you when you're not in the driver's seat. Like when we're operating at our full
Right.
potential of, all right, what do I want to eat on this weekend, and how do I want to live, and what do I want to do and behave and see, and whenever we're online, I think we have a natural tendency to be virtuous and to choose the best things for us.
Yeah. I mean, come off
Vacation
good.
or not.
Right. Huh. So, well, the intentionality is true. You're right. If I'm being held to account, I will do the right thing. The trick, the moral courage is doing the right thing when you're not being held to account. And I've never thought of vacation as an opportunity to do that, but yeah, you're right.
But for me, like when we just got back, from my little vacation was in Montana. I ate some things that didn't make me feel good about myself. Right?
Like a buffalo. What does
even
one eat?
That would have probably been good. But it wasn't a gift. I wasn't giving myself a gift. Like, hey, Philip, I love you so much that I'm gonna, let you do this.
Yeah.
Like that really isn't kind of any sort of self-love thing right there.
Yeah.
That downtime, being off time, should be where I'm taking care of. I'm loving myself and I'm taking care of myself or my family or whatever that is. And so, what does that look like?
Wow. Okay, so here's what it looks like because I did that. I always bring books when I go on vacation, and I rarely get to them because I have tons of kids. And my gift, when you put it in those words, was I finished a book over Thanksgiving, just one. Read one whole book, start to cover, or start to finish. And I felt really good about it. Like when I was done, I was like, I read this book. Everyone should read this book. And I walked around. I'm like, who wants to read it next? And I was like, what are you doing? We're eating. But I like the way of thinking of that. Like give yourself a gift. So if downtime is intentional and you're giving yourself something that you gain or do better because of, what's that thing going to be? And achieve that. I mean, it's different words for the kind of the same thing, but I don't know. I don't mean to jump on your thing, but you're right. I mean, the moment I finished the book, I felt I wanted to like announce to the world, I have done this thing. And, I mean, I read all the time, but I did it on vacation. It felt very intentional. It felt really cool. All right. Well, so that's it. 10 minutes ish. Tactical talk, tough guys. If you made it this far, get ready for the commercials. Because here's the deal. Philip and I have decided, or I've decided, and Philip has decided other things, but we're both doing it together anyway. However you want to list it. We both run programs. We both run programs that bring people together and explore ideas and challenge you to up your game and level up to new levels. And so we don't have a flyer to send you, but we need you to start thinking about the time of telework is going to cause everyone to start to shift from their purpose, their meaning, their direction, their mission, whatever you want to call it, because we don't have that kneecap to kneecap time to connect and to make sure that we are all working on the same things in the same direction. So we're taking our CommandReady program. It was a 4-part program spread over 4 weeks, usually in an urban setting, down in a warehouse someplace. Philip taught portions of it. I taught portions of it. And we're going to take that thing, but to be pandemic safe, we're going to go farther away. We're going to go up in the mountains. We're going to go where the air is a little bit thinner, not, 4 feet of snow thinner, but thinner. And it's going to be a full day followed by a week of reflection, followed by a full day. So it's a 2-day session. It will run in the early spring, a couple months from now. You can DM us for direct details, but we'll start putting out some promotional stuff. The idea is we're going to get 20-ish people together, and we're going to work on developing your leadership skills, developing your personal culture and your group culture. We got a lot of surprises for you. There will be some walking around and seeing of the world, a lot of hands-on experiential stuff. So I'm just putting that in there. If you are the kind of person who wants to be challenged a little bit and level up your game, it's coming. It's coming.
Might even be some wolves.
Well, I mean, given just the whole banner behind you, absolutely there should be wolves. And I guarantee there will be some sort of fire, and there will be activities, and there will be tanks, and there will be unknown. So,
Fighter jets? There will be fighter jets?
oh, I don't think you're going to fly in any, but yes, there might be. So anyway, this program's coming together. Look for it. Write us directly if you want to ask more about it, because talk about intentional. It's a vacation for your business brain. 2 8-hour sessions, 2 consecutive Fridays, that kind of thing. But shoot us a note. So that's your teaser. Otherwise, I will see you next week. And I know we both got to go. So goodbye to you all.
All right, guys.
Log on your favorite intentional vacation plan if you made it this far. Put something down below. Where have you gone? Where did you go? I hit Tahoe last week for Thanksgiving, and Mr. Phillip here went to Montana.
Active recovery.